drink your coffee without anything that actually makes coffee work right now.
future meet. Get your weapons ready, kiss the ones goodbye. Now our time is coming, and it is not the time to cry. Fight the war. Fight the war. Fight the war. Oh, here's why we're fighting. It's about the fight. Let the writers writing settle wrong from right. In the time of conflict, when the bullets fly, in the space of seconds, a life you cannot buy. Face the facts before you, face the simple truth. We're hopelessly outnumbered, it's tragic but it's true. Make your last formation, take the final road. Now it's time for endings, now it's time to go. Fight the war. Oh, fight the war. Fight the war.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm the war because it's a Tuesday. Welcome to May 28th. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, Arvanauts. Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday stream. It is Tuesday, May 28th. We are just about at the end of May. We are after ArvCon. ArvCon has concluded for the year after another successful event, which was a lot of work for all concerned and all that. That was awesome. So thank you again one last time to all those who donated and all those who were a part of it. And just as a last reminder, please remember that you can, thank you, Kara, I appreciate that. Please remember, everybody, that you can always continue to donate. You don't have to wait for ArvCon to do it. And I want to encourage everybody to continue to do that and support that charity. There are many other great charities too, of course, but supporting that charity is something which is near and dear to our hearts here. So thank you, everybody, for supporting it. And thank you to everyone who made this such a great event as always. And ArvCon 2020 will be even more awesome, I have no doubt. But it is now time to get past ArvCon and to move on to other things and to talk about other things as well. Also, thank you, Echo, by the way, for the double scroll thing. I actually didn't notice that because I've been getting everything ready. And then I look back, I'm like, what does he mean? I'm like, oh my God, the intro and outro scrolls at the same time. So thank you. Anyway, but we are back. We are ready to go. And I am very excited because we have got the Patreon fueled chat chosen game of the month today, which is Lamplight City. Now, this one is one that I was told about. I'd actually heard details about this before, but it wasn't until I actually had the chance to take a look at it and see what it was all about that I thought this would be pretty neat to give it a try, since chat decreed that this would be the game that I would play this month. So just a quick note on how to support the channel before I talk more about getting into that, though. If you haven't done so already, please follow the channel. That is always an appreciated thing. Please, if you haven't done so already, please check check out the YouTube channel with !ArvTube, the Discord with !ArvCord. Thank you, Echo. The Discord, yes. Also, please make sure to check out my website, arvanelaron.com, that has both the current schedule and also the Curse of Strahd podcast and details about the Curse of Infinity and Beyond people with Curse of Strahd, etc. Please make sure to check out also, I do want to mention my podcast Speculate that I do with one Mike Underwood, who you most recently saw on Hearts of Wulin, because that is continuing to move on and produce game sessions that I think people might find interesting over there. Back to my channel, though, !Arv Tweets will let you follow my Twitter, which is closing in on 1,000 followers. That'll be a fun milestone. And !Tweet will let you retweet the stream, and please do this. We actually already had the developer already liked this tweet. So I tweeted this out, and we already had the developer of it already liked the tweet. So that's good. We're getting notice from the dev. So please retweet the stream. That would be appreciated. As Echo just mentioned, the shop, !Arv shop, is my merchandise area. As I've mentioned, that is going to be our next thing now that Kilobyte is through stuff. I do have one or two other little odds and ends things that I'm going to be having him do. But pretty much, since everything else is completed for the moment, he is going to have a chance to work now on merchandise. And so we're going to be getting merchandise. We're going to get more merchandise up there for not just Infinity and Beyond, but for some other campaigns. So at long last, we will be getting that up there in the sooner rather than later category. That's !Arv shop. Arv Treon, of course. What's up, Kerflop? Is the Patreon that is currently sitting at $333.96. But again, I would love to see that get to $350 and north of that. I'd like to be able to get back up to the $400 level eventually, which is my goal. I think my goal was $400 for the Patreon, in part because once we get back up to there, I'd like to be able to start doing maybe a once-a-month movie watching with chat using Rabbit or something similar. I'd also like to maybe think about doing another Talisman tournament. Arvanaut Idol, what would that be? 4 is not out of the realm of possibility. I think we're up to 4. So that would be possible, but we can't do that until the money is actually there to sustain it. So the Patreon would definitely be appreciated if you want to support over there. And then last but certainly not least, of course, that sub button. We actually got some people to resub and to sub for the first time during ArvCon, which was great. Since I didn't push it very much, I was focusing on the Damon Runyon. But now that we are past that, I would love to let people know about that sub button. So please consider joining all these wonderful people with their bronze and their yellow and their blue sub badges and all their custom emotes that we now have and all that stuff. Please join up with us, folks. Right now we're sitting at about 46, I believe, subs. So I'd love to get north of 50 again as we continue to push on to our goal, which is 80 by the end of the year. Ultimately, we wanted to be able to get back up. 71 is our record, so we want to get past 71 subs and continue to move upwards. So thank you for everybody. Yeah, blue is where it's at until you reach the year mark, Kerflop, and then you'll be bronze, and then bronze will be where it's at. It'll be sort of matching the color of your name, sort of, so to speak. But yes, so that's what we've got going on. I do want to mention, by the way, since I see Kerflop is here, like yours, exactly, Echo. I do want to mention that I shipped off to Dragon Spear today, one rock god, Drew Zion's amazing picture to the top donator of ArvCon, so congratulations to Dragon. I sent off his package today. I also sent off Shadowed Mage's physical copy of 5 Years Later, my band's album, which just got a really good review in the Big Takeover, which we were happy to hear and see. And so the only one that's left to give away now in terms of a physical product that I have to send out is, I believe, is the pen, Kerflop's pen. So I'm just waiting to get the address of the person who wanted, who is CanCon Mill, I believe, and then I will ship that off to him as well, and that will square away ArvCon for the year. So, but thank you again to Kerflop for making that pen and all that good stuff. Now, Lamplight City, as I mentioned, is what we've got on the docket for tonight. Over on GOG, I'm going to be playing Spycraft again. I may be finishing it today. I think we're close to finishing it. Either finishing it or we'll finish it next week, one of the next 2 days, at which point I will, at long last, go back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. Although I was really, really, really tempted to try to give Druidstone a try, which is the new game from Almost Human that made Legend of Grimrock 1 and 2. I was really tempted, and I ultimately decided not to because I just looked at it. I'm like, there's some issues with it. But I was so tempted. I was like, man, it looks really cool, and I love that studio, but I decided not to. So I'm going back to Pathfinder Kingmaker, and that's what I'll be doing next, and then eventually we'll return to Divinity Original Sin 2. So we will get there, but I have to finish Spycraft first. So that's going to be either finishing today or next Tuesday, and then that's the deal with that. Coming up on, not this Thursday, but on Friday, we have got the last, of course, stream of the month. It is May 31st. That should be Masters of the Dungeon, and then I think I have Sorcery, if I'm not mistaken, as we continue. I think we should be able to wrap up, actually, Kare, Book 2, City Port of Traps on Friday, if all goes well. The Friday Masters of the Dungeon is a little bit up in the air because there's only 2 of us so far that have confirmed, so I need to find out from the third person, but the hope is that we're going to do Masters of the Dungeon on Friday, and I'm going to try to make up the schedule over the next few days for June. June is going to be very busy, and so I'm going to be working on that. Last note, very important, 2 weeks from today, mark your calendars, people, because 2 weeks from today is the official launch of the Jelinek/Icarus Kickstarter. I've been showing this video. I announced this a few weeks ago about the launch of the Icarus Jelinek Kickstarter, which is the sequel to my graphic novel Icarus. I'm very excited about this, but I will admit also to being a little nervous because it's, you know, it's all on us. It's basically all, you know, my crew, my people, along, of course, with the publisher and the artist, but all of us are going to have to really sort of get behind it to support it. I'm very excited about the story. I worked very hard on it. I'd like to think that it's a good and hopefully important story, and the art is just amazing. I mean, like, as I've talked about many times, the art is really spectacular. Acela Fabio, who is the artist, is doing an amazing, amazing job. Everything he sends me, I'm just like, wow, 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 you know. And so this has been absolutely amazing, but I will definitely need everyone's support. And so next Tuesday, 2 weeks from today, is going to be Tuesday, June 11th, a big stream for us. We will have some of the people, the higher ups from Athos will be there. We'll have some giveaways as well and some special events, and then it will be running for a month until July 11th when we wrap things up. So I'm really hoping we can make a big push and get this well funded, because it's important for things, and I would really like to see it do well. So that is coming up on July 12th, is it? Is it Friday the 12th? Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, July 12th. That's right. June 11th through July 12th. That's right. I think it's 31 days, though, if I'm not mistaken. So June 11th, Tuesday, through July 12th, Friday, will be the period of time. And actually, it works pretty well because June 11th is right before Origins. Thanks, Kerflop. I appreciate that, dude. June 11th will be the starting point of it, and then I'll be going to Origins over that weekend, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. And then the following month, that 12th day will literally be when I've just gotten back from Seattle. I'll be out visiting in-laws for a few weeks. I'll be back in Boston for ReaderCon, and so I'll actually be streaming that closing event. It'll be 11 p.m. Eastern that it closes up on July 12th, and I'll be streaming that live from ReaderCon. So that's going to be awesome. I'm actually really looking forward to that. I begin with a conference, not quite. I'm going to be doing the launch from home, but almost launching from a conference and ending at a conference, so that'll be cool. So yeah, other than that, the summer's going to be busy. Got a lot of travel planned, got a lot of conferences planned. Origins, obviously, next month, ReaderCon in July, Gen Con in August, possibly WorldCon, but definitely will be at CanCon in Ottawa in the fall, and also have PAX Unplugged that I'll probably be going to. Even if I'm not participating in PAX Unplugged, I'll probably be going to that one just because, you know, it's like an hour and a half away from me because it's in Philly. So I probably will do that regardless. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on, very busy, and I am very excited to share it all with all of you. And now that I've talked about that, I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of that, and I can turn on that, which is accidentally not maximized. Whoopsie. Let me just take care of that. I forgot I hadn't fixed that after ARFCon. Hey, that's the way the webcam is supposed to look. What's going on, everybody? It is good to see everyone. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you folks are looking forward to Lamplight City. Now, I do not know a lot about this game other than it's an adventure game and it's got a good soundtrack. I don't know anything else about it, and in fact, I have not even had a chance to... Thundercats! That's right. I haven't even had a chance yet. I'm going to capture it live and in person for all of you as I'm doing this. But I have no doubt it will be fine in capturing it. I don't think it'll be an issue. I got it last night from GOG.com. You'll be happy to know. So it is DRM free. And I will be playing it via GOG Galaxy. So hopefully everything is going to go well. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, I know Echo has been a big fan of this game. I don't think just the OST. I think you've also played the game, right, Echo? Is that right? Am I right about that, or am I crazy? I think you've played this game before, yes? Okay. So has anyone else in chat played the game? Or not? I'm curious. As I fix my webcam. There we go. No? All right then. Well, we are going to see what happened. Oh, you watched the release stream. Oh, see, because I didn't see when Saber actually did that release stream. So it's going to be all new to me. So we're all going to learn together here. But I've heard good things about it. Anything that has something vaguely steampunky about it, I'm likely to like. In fact, I'll say this straight up. If any developer out there is like, I wonder what game Arv would really love to play, because I'm sure that's what developers are thinking. Let me be clear. RPG, steampunk. You've all heard of Arcanum, Steamworks and Magic Obscura, but I've already played and won that game. Loved Arcanum. Please to give me more steampunk, okay? Steampunk RPGs, I want to see it. I want airships. I would like pocket watches. Pocket watches. I would like vests. I would like, you know, cool hats. Victorian era ethics. Actually, I don't want that. But no, in all seriousness, I really like steampunk. So I am all about it. So if we get a steampunk RPG at some point, sign me up, because it would be pretty sweet. And I would love to see more of it. But that's kind of the feel that I gather we get from this game as well. So let's give it a shot and see how we do. All right, and you'll have to bear with me just a second as I'm capturing this game for the first time. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments to volume. All right. Good, there we go. Settings. Windowed. Haha. Okay. Speech hold? What does speech hold mean? It's probably too loud. Let's drop the music a lot. Drop the general sound down. I know there's no game. I know there's no game capturing. Echo, I know. I haven't done it yet. It just came on. Hold on a second. But you can hear, you should be able to hear the volume too, though. Is it too loud, or is the volume okay? Or is it too quiet? Just from music and sound. How is it? Too loud, or is it good? It's good? And you guys can hear the bells and the people talking and... Sound solid? You hear it all? Okay. Good. Alrighty, well. Let's get this captured. Aha! There we go. There we go. I'm just going to have to make an adjustment to the... It's too bad that it doesn't have a... Because the windowed mode, it's actually pretty good, but it's too bad that it doesn't have an adjustment for making it wider screen. Let me see if it does. Do we not have a settings thing for this? GOG Galaxy, take me away. Do we have a settings thing, GOG Galaxy? Add command line arguments. What command line arguments would I create? I just wish I could actually resize the window. That would be nice. Ooh, unless it lets me do the resizer. Oh, hold on just a minute. Maybe I... Sorry, I thought that when I looked at this last night, it looked like it was going to be fairly simple to capture, and it looks like it's okay to capture, but... Uh-oh. Maybe not. No, it does not like... Yeah. Okay. It does not want me to resize. Okay. It does not want me to resize the window. It's like, don't do that. Don't ever do that again. All right, well, hang on just a second whilst we play. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. New game. Let's do it. Can we not? What? Wait. Can we not do that? Why is the GOG Galaxy... Sorry, the reason I'm stopping is because this, the overlay is not working. Ugh. All right, hang on a second. I'm sorry. The overlay isn't working. All right. Clearly, this is why I should never, ever, ever, ever assume that anything is going to be easy to capture. It's a modern game being done on GOG Galaxy, so I thought it would be fine. It just has the little GOG Galaxy thing. It's like, you know, Shift Tab for overlay. I'm like, I don't want the freaking overlay. Can you please go away and never return? Okay. Let's try this again. Let's try this one last time. We'll get it working. We'll get it moving. I like how the options are full screen or windowed, and that's it. That's what you got. Okay. I do not understand why it continues to show the overlay, the now playing Shift Tab for more thing, because I don't want this overlay thing here. Has anyone, did anyone use that? No, I know you don't see it, but I'm seeing it. Has anyone had that, like, have any of you had that situation? Like, playing this, like, Echo, when you played this, did you see the stupid GOG Galaxy overlay thing there? Why is it showing me this? I don't want to see this. Okay. Also, this game is very finicky. All right. And I'm getting rid of that. Oh man, it is very finicky if you go outside the window. So, I'm going to have to keep that in mind. You cannot go outside the window. It does not want that. All right, let me try opening up GOG Galaxy first, actually. Backburner, what's up, bro? How are you, sir? I have not seen you in a long time. All right, let's make sure that the overlay is off. I don't want the overlay ever anyway, so. Okay. You had a car accident? How did you get into a car? What happened, dude? Are you better? Are you okay now? Okay, good. The overlay is gone. Huzzah. You were taking... You got in a car accident in a lift. Oh, my God. Oh, dude. I hope you're okay, man. That sucks. All right. Here we go. New game. Let's do it. Sorry about all that. Rough night?
Rough night?
Bit too much Bollingworth ale is all. That stuff really creeps up on you.
Sorry I couldn't join you, but I was long overdue for a quiet night in with Addie.
That's fine. There'll be plenty of other opportunities.
That's good. Good
Hell,
grief,
maybe
man.
Adelaide can even join us. It's been ages since she last drank me under the table.
Afraid she mostly sticks to tea these days.
Miles, what exactly is it we're looking into? I may have dozed off during the briefing.
Captain Snelling is going to notice one of these days.
Honestly, Bill, one of these days Snelling's gonna notice.
No, he won't. Why do you think they put him behind a desk? The man couldn't find his own backside with a pair of pliers and a lantern.
Very funny. Anyway, it's a burglary at the Hanbrook Flower Shop.
A burglary, eh? How dull. At least we'll have enough time to get a drink afterwards.
Okay, so his partner's an alcoholic.
Seem awfully certain of
That's
that.
good.
I am. In fact, I'd bet the devil my head that we're done within the hour.
Well, the devil's gonna be disappointed that his winnings are so meager. Ah, we've arrived. After you, Bill.
The city of New Britannia. Borough of Cholmondeley. 1844.
Thank you. Keep the change.
See that airship up there? Keep the change. Is that the... If they use that line, keep the change in 1844? Is the change...
And so, our night of excitement begins.
You more than anyone else should know that there's rarely a dull night in Chumley.
Oh,
I have
Chumley.
a feeling tonight will be the exception. Until we get to the pub, that is.
Chumley.
Keep your mind on the case, Bill. Now let's get a move on.
Not Chumley. Yes, they did? They said keep the change? Okay. Left click to interact with objects. The mouse cursor is context sensitive. All right, let's look at this trash can.
Fordham, what are you doing?
I was gonna check inside this trash can for clues.
Miles, in the 15 years we've been partners, how many times have you found something inside a trash can that wasn't garbage?
Fair point.
But I will check it
No
anyway.
point wasting time searching through a dirty old trash can.
You
Really?
finally learned. I'm so proud.
Don't assume what I'm going to do. Okay. Okay, here we go. Settings. That's all wonderful. No, I did it wrong. No. Window. Okay, good. Wow. Suddenly the music volume is up full. Okay. So, Echo does the... no such thing as a trash can. It's all rubbish bins, right? So, Echo, is speech hold, does that just mean the speech just stays on the screen until you click off it? Is that what that means? Show them the badge. Exactly. Is that what that means, Echo? Maybe? You don't know? Alright, well, let's find out. That is what that means? But I didn't think... have you played this, Carol? Current case, honor among thieves. The Hanbrook Flower Shop has been burglarized. Will the burglar return, or is this investigation just a formality? Speak to the owner of the Hanbrook Flower Shop. We have clues, we have suspects, and documents. Very empty book at the moment. All right. Let's save it. Ah, you're quite right. It's not changing for you. Why is it not changing for you?
Were you actually going to do anything for them?
It's going to tell you to go shut the shell up. Okay, alright. It looks to me like this thing does not play nice with game capture, so I'm just going to do it as window capture. Doesn't really make a difference. Okay. That's better. Oh, you watched Darksaber playing a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. Homeless fan.
An all too common sight in this part of town.
Sad to say, it hasn't really changed much since I was a boy.
He's just pacing back and forth, muttering to himself.
Probably one of the patients from Riverview. Seems like there's more of them on the streets than in the asylum these days.
Okay.
I can't believe that thing made it all the way across the Atlantic in less than a week.
Don't scoff at the future, Miles. Pretty soon, we'll all be riding those things to work.
Especially considering Prince Harold is their big celebrity passenger.
I'm not sure about this. This does not feel very 1844 dialogue to me. Especially since he's their big celebrity partner. Like, it sounds a bunch of 2019 guys who are just like, we're in 1844.
Glad this thing is lit. This isn't really the type of place I'd prefer to be at this time of night.
Don't worry, Miles. I've got your back.
Also, isn't this supposed to be British? Are they in England? Is this like England by way of Jersey? How? Okay.
Come on, Bill.
Charming little place, isn't it?
Charming, but empty. We need to find the owner.
Always so to the point, Fordham. If ever there was a better time to stop and smell the flowers.
I think I'll leave that to you, Bill.
With my allergies? Hardly.
Okay.
Not too many left. Seems business isn't so bad around here.
Well, you know what they say. There are only 3 certainties in life. Death, taxes, and people taking advantage of sales.
Okay. Hanging plants.
Plants hanging on hooks. A nice space-saving method.
I'd probably bang my head against them constantly if I had them in my apartment.
These prices are pretty reasonable. The place I go in Worcester's clearly robbing me blind.
True.
If you think those are bad, don't go near the flower shops in Lyon.
Don't go near the flower shops in Lyon. Oh, bada bing, bada boom. You know, I'm straight from Yorkshire.
This is quite the selection. Come over here and take a whiff, Bill.
Oh, man.
Sure, if you don't mind me getting snot all over your coat.
Oh, no, not the Myers case all over again. On second thought, you can just stay over there.
Okay.
Mostly a bunch of fertilizer and growth tonics.
Growth tonics, eh?
Plant growth tonics, Bill.
Of course. I knew that.
Of course. Of course. Listen to the accent. Of course. Yo, of course. All right, let's ring this bell.
Be right there. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I must say you caught me by surprise. I was preparing to close soon. May I help you find anything? The flowers in the center display are half price this week, and I have a special on chrysanthemums today. Or perhaps a custom bouquet for the special ladies in your lives?
You assuming that I have a special lady in my life? How do you know that this would actually be true?
I have no need myself, but maybe Adelaide would appreciate a little something. Eh, Miles? Those peonies in the corner look nice.
I'm afraid we're not here as customers tonight, ma'am. We'd like to have a word with the proprietor. Is he in?
I see. I'm Cecilia Handbrook, and this is my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen?
I heard that you had a game you needed to start.
I'm Detective Miles Fordham, and this is my partner, William Legere. We received a report of a burglary at your store.
A report? From whom? I never contacted the police before, and I didn't this time either.
It was made anonymously. But are you saying this isn't the first time it's happened?
Correct. It's happened 3 times. But considering the police hardly care about the daily muggings and vandalisms around here...
Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to stop resisting arrest. Any further information is going to lead to severe repression of your rights, and we're going to have to take you down to the jail.
I didn't think they would be interested in something so trivial.
I'm going to let that pass, ma'am, but I'm going to have to ask you to have more respect for the uniform.
Well, we're here now, and we'll do all we can to help you.
We'll have to see about that.
If you wouldn't mind, Mrs. Sandbrook, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Even if you would mind.
Very well, Detective.
Whoa. Suddenly, close up. Let's start with yourself.
Have you been in business long?
Yes, I opened this shop 30 years ago, along with my late husband, David. But the past 10 years, I've been running things on my own.
Don't you feel unsafe being here by yourself so late into the night?
Detective, when you've lived in this part of town as long as I have, it takes quite a lot to scare you.
I didn't ask you that, ma'am. Please just answer the questions.
Could you give me the details concerning the burglaries?
About 3 weeks ago on Monday, I noticed that my order of Easter lilies was missing. At first, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes certain types of flowers are unavailable or arrive in poor condition. These things happen.
I'm like, oh, that's fascinating.
Then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it happened again. But this time, I noticed something rather odd.
Go on.
When I opened the shop, there were 6 crowns and 10 shillings on the counter. That's exactly the cost of 2 orders of lilies.
So you weren't robbed?
Last Friday, it happened yet again. The lilies were missing, and there was payment for 1 order on the counter. I believe that someone has been breaking into my shop after hours, taking the lilies, and leaving money behind.
Okay, so this is just early Amazon. Yeah, exactly, Arinth. This is just, look, it's 1844. Everyone here already speaks like they're from 2019 New York. So this is just people who want to get flowers at 3 in the morning, you know? So they just walk in there and then just drop the, yeah, I know. You know, 3 in the morning, like that's what they want. I don't really see the problem here. I mean, it's just, if you would just, you know, like get with the times, lady, I mean, this wouldn't be a problem.
How unusual.
Casebook updated, clue added. Let's talk about these suspicious people.
Have you noticed any suspicious characters lurking around?
Detective Fordham, this is Chumley. You can't throw a stone without hitting a suspicious character.
All right, let me try it.
And if you've noticed my window, you'd be aware that stones get thrown around quite a bit in this neighborhood.
All right, lady.
If you're looking for trouble, you're far more likely to find it out there than in here.
Ma'am, you're getting awfully defensive and belligerent. I'm going to have to ask you to stop, or I will have to use excessive force.
I meant if you'd seen anyone out of the ordinary near your shop.
Only the 2 men from the police who entered it tonight. That is most definitely out of the ordinary.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step out from behind the counter and be prepared to be tased.
Have you found any evidence of a break-in?
No, the front door is always locked. My assistant Trevor and I are the only ones with the key.
I see. And who is Trevor? Oh, Trevor is the former criminal boss of a gang around here who just recently got out from the tombs. And so now that he's out, I figured it was okay to actually give him a job. And I hadn't even thought about that. That's true, Carol. Well, I mean, listen, though, like, so how many shillings did she say? Because the truth is that, you know, lilies, Easter lilies, are pretty big flowers, you know? So those probably would be fairly expensive, actually. What I'm trying to figure out is if this is such a crappy place to be in Chumley, how exactly does she get away with charging that? I mean, like, if it's a lousy area, like, what? Why would it be, you know?
Are there any other points of access to the building?
The upstairs windows, I suppose, but I make sure to keep them locked, and neither of them have been broken.
1 crown and some shillings, 20 shillings to the crown. Oh. Right. So that means that we're talking like $400. What's up, Summer B76? How are you? Exactly nonstop. Hit you! Confess! So yeah, so we're talking $400, huh? Okay, that's a little much. You're at an internship. Nice, Summer. What is your internship?
Would you allow us to have a look upstairs?
Is that really necessary? I was just about to close up the shop.
Ma'am, do you want us to actually investigate, or would you like us to just sit here as you tell us things of stuff?
It won't take but a moment.
Software game development at local city government's 3D team. That's awesome. Get out! I mean, she's the victim, and I'm like, I'm just trying to help out, okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to help.
Fine, I suppose you may, but please, don't dally too
Oh
long.
my god. Objective added. Punch woman in face. All right.
So this burglar has been paying for the stolen goods?
That would appear to be the case, yes. I really don't think this could even be considered a crime. That's one of the reasons I didn't bother reporting it to the police.
So maybe the burglar is self-loathing and is reporting his own crime in a sudden twist.
And the other reasons?
Oh, I think I've already made those quite clear, Detective.
Yes, your hatred of policemen everywhere. That is quite evident. So if you could...
You mentioned your assistant has the other shop key. What can you tell me about him?
His name is Trevor Hastings, and he has been working for me for the past 10 years.
He has never been held up for any kind of burglary. He is involved with aggravated assault and did murder 3 people last year, but otherwise he's clean.
Do you trust him?
Implicitly. I've known him for ages, and he has been my full-time assistant since shortly after my husband died.
Okay, so either the criminal called this
You're not
crime in...
suggesting he had anything to do with this, are you?
Either the criminal called this in or Trevor called this in. And Trevor's like, listen, the old bat doesn't understand.
Not at all. I would like to speak with him, though. Where might I find him?
Oh, you'll find him out back in an alcoholic stupor.
It's Friday, so he should be on his way back from the docks right now.
The docks?
He'll be bringing my flower order within the hour.
And as we all know, people in Victorian England, whenever they were working down at the docks, those were some good people. High quality. Never any criminal element that exists within the docks district of any city.
Good. We'll meet him here, then. If that's all right with you.
I suppose I don't really have much of a choice, do I?
No, you don't, ma'am.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Okay. So let's take a look at our casebook. Find a point of entry upstairs, wait for Trevor Hastings and speak to him. Well, let's try to get that point of entry first. All right. Okay.
Perhaps it
Whoops.
wasn't always used as a
My bad.
storeroom, although I can understand why it would have been converted.
Yeah, it is rather drafty in here.
What is this portrait?
A rather distinguished-looking gentleman.
Reminds me of Captain Snelling, if he ever smiled.
A young lady. Perhaps a relation of Mrs. Hambrook?
I can see the resemblance. Sort of.
I
Heater.
would imagine that keeping a consistent temperature in here is important for the flowers.
When do you suppose this contraption was last serviced?
Hard to say. Definitely not recently, if the dust buildup is any indication.
When will the schedule for June be done? Not 100% sure, Echo. My best guess is that I'm going to figure out... I don't exactly know what I'm going to do for Saturday, which is technically June 1st. I might do sorcery because it'll be safe, and I know that it'll just involve me. And then next week will be the issue. Although I have to double check because technically D&D with Infinity and Beyond is first and third Saturdays. However, because we already know that we already did this big thing last week, and because Rob is in London and is going to be there for a couple of weeks, I may try to see, and I think Cairo is out of commission as well, I may try to see about pushing that back. So basically Saturday is a little, I should have Saturday done in the next couple of days. The overall schedule I'm probably not going to have in place until my guess is this Sunday. And then obviously it's always subject to change, and there's always some adjustment and movement. I also need to mention that I am pretty much taking the next couple of days. I have to do some school stuff tomorrow, but I'm pretty much taking the next few days to relax I am not going to do anything, including any writing, now that I've gotten most of my stuff that I need to get done. Writing for me, and then my summer schedule is going to kick into gear again next week. But I'm looking forward to just chilling, playing some chill games, hanging out. So, good stuff. We had actually a really nice barbecue yesterday. My daughter baked us an awesome cake, so it was good Memorial Day. Okay.
Pastoral landscape. Definitely nowhere near here.
I've never much understood art, but it would be nice to see a place like that in person.
Person. Yo. Fire escape.
The window latch. Securely locked. Interesting. There's a gap between the window and the frame here. No wonder it's so drafty in this room.
That would allow them to get that lock.
I wonder.
What are you thinking, Fordham?
That it's time for an experiment. I'm going to need a tool, however. Something long and thin should do the trick.
Shouldn't be too hard to find something like that around here.
Yeah, he's going to try to get the latch open. Okay.
This provides a means of escape from the top floor, or access to this window from the ground.
Way too early to tell, Summer. Way too early to tell. I'm just laughing at the some of the anachronistic dialogue, which has been funny to me. No, I mean, it seems cool. I like the music, but it's too early. I need another. I'm going to be playing this for another couple hours, hour 45 minutes. So I need another 15 minutes to get a kind of grip on first impressions.
Lamplight City in all her glory.
Okay, so that's that. That's the latch. All right, so I'm going to have to find something long and thin.
Seems to be the broken pot storage area.
Why not just throw them away, I wonder?
It's likely they're going to be repaired. I noticed some faint cracks in some of the pots downstairs.
Device.
I've seen this type of device before. It's a special container for growing plants. Specific temperature and water conditions can be adjusted. Seems to be empty right now, though. And judging by the dust, it hasn't been used in a long time, if ever.
It seems Mrs. Handbrook isn't too fond of steam tech, or just doesn't understand it.
Oh, you actually did, you were doing testing? It's just that, like, a lot of for 1844, a lot of the language, they were saying, like, oh, yeah, the big, Prince, what's his face, Prince whatever his name was, Prince blah, 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 the big celebrity. Like, they wouldn't use those terms. They already, Karahem had already mentioned that they wouldn't use the term allergies. There's a lot of little anachronisms like that, and the fact that his partner sounds like a dude who lives in Long Island, basically. Like, it just, again, I'm not saying it throws me out. Like, it's okay. It's just one of those things where I'm just kind of like, what? So, yeah, keep the change seems a little too slangy and 2019 modern. Again, not anything that I'm like, oh, I hate this game. Not at all. I'm not saying that at all. It's just a little amusing to me that it's kind of not. I would have expected something a little bit more Sherlock Holmes, perhaps, all right, crates. I need something
unmarked,
thin.
But if the smell is anything to go by, this is where the flowers are stored when delivered.
I'll keep my distance then.
I don't think this window would serve as a viable means of entry.
It's a nice view, though. You can hardly see the vomit and manure piles on the street from up here.
All right. Problem is that we don't have anything long and thin. Let's take a look at the casebook. Find a long, thin tool for the experiment. Maybe outside? He's not a trained historian. Yeah. I understand that. It's just, I also happen to be, maybe he can ask her. I'll bet that's what that means. I happen to love this sort of steampunk stuff. I would certainly not get everything right about everything either. But if I were looking at my period of, let's say, the Renaissance, I, would have to know some basics.
Lost in thought again, Fordham?
Oh, stop. About things and how they would ultimately work. So, but yeah, I mean, again, like, I'm not saying it's a big deal. I just find it kind of funny. All right, Mrs. Handbook.
I have a few more questions for you, Mrs. Sandbrook.
You have something along with it?
Very well, Detective. If it will help you conclude your investigation faster.
Oh, do you actually know him? Summer, please do not, however, I don't in any way mean to be insulting his game. I don't know nearly enough about it to say anything either way. So just, you know, I don't mean to be like, I don't mean to be that guy. So don't, you're happy to pass along my thought, you know, my impression, I guess, if you want, but just don't, you know, I'm not trying to overstate it. Yeah. I don't want to overstate, you know, stuff before I really have a sense of it. That's all.
Mrs. Handbrook, were you aware that there's a gap in the frame of the small upstairs window?
Is there? I only go up there to check that the window is locked. I've never noticed a gap. Are you suggesting that's how the burglar is entering the store?
It's a distinct possibility, but I have yet to figure out exactly how.
Well, I trust you'll come to a satisfactory conclusion, Detective.
I think that's all the information I need for now.
All right, Detective.
Okay, that isn't what I was hoping for. I want a long, thin something. Hanging plants.
Aha! This hook is exactly what I need.
Ah.
Mrs. Handbrook, may I borrow this hook for a few minutes? It's crucial to our investigation.
Is that so?
Yes, I promise I'll put it back as soon as I'm done.
Please do, Detective.
Okay. Thank you. No. Summer, I'm not saying anything about the game yet. Don't give him the idea that I'm like... I'm just amused. Okay, but I don't... He's probably going to be like, boy, what a hard ass. I haven't even played the game. All right. I haven't even played the game enough to know. Poor guy. He liked my tweet already. He's going to be like, oh, this jerk. He starts playing my game and 10 minutes in, he's already criticizing it. I don't know yet. Okay. Let's get this window working. Now, how do I assume it's context sensitive?
Good.
It is. Good.
Bill, it's time for our experiment.
That's cool.
And what is this experiment
I
going
like
to be?
the context sensitive cursor.
Simple. I'm going to see if this hook can get me inside the shop.
Shut up, Kerflap.
Rather dark out here.
Watch your step, then. This experiment of yours isn't worth a broken neck.
I see. Okay.
I'll be fine. Now then, could you please close and lock the window, Bill?
Haha!
Well, I'd say this is fairly incontrovertible proof that the building can easily be broken into without arousing suspicion.
Where'd you learn how to do that, anyway?
Well, you see, yesterday I was actually breaking into the flower shop. I mean, I don't know. I just...
You taught me, remember?
Nah. Are you sure it was me?
Positive. We were a few pints in at the Angel about 5 years ago, and you decided I should learn how to pick locks.
Seems legit.
What else have I taught you how to do while drunk?
That would be telling.
I would say... That's a good question, Astro. I would say that probably he could get through the window, and then... Because he used the... You know, he lowered it in the gap, but he could just do it the other way, couldn't he? Like, if he set it, then he could get through the window, close it, and then just have the latch sort of like... How do I put this? Like, up on, like,
It's a
vertical?
good view to be taking in,
Shut
but we really
up.
should be getting a move on.
Trying to talk to chat. Like the lock vertical, like this, right? So that when he goes through, he can just jiggle it and it can kind of flip over. Because the latch does not look like it was... It looks fairly loose. So that would be my guess. Aha!
Ah, Trevor.
Trevor.
Evening, Cecilia. I've got the order ready to bring in.
Got the order. Evening. I got the order. Where do you want me to put it? After I do that, I'm going to go back, all right? It's like... Oh, man. It's the Bowery via Brooklyn.
Trevor, these are Detectives Fordham and Leger. They say there's been a report about the burglaries, and they're here investigating.
I only did it because I think it's been going on too long.
Because it's been going on too long. I knew Trevor called it in, though. Could be, yes. That is possible, Summer, and I am fully aware that alternative histories do this. Now, now I do have to ask you, because maybe you would know, Summer, so is Lamplight City intended to be set in Great Britain? Because I don't know, even in an alternate history, that we would get Americanisms. If this is meant to be set in America, then maybe I could push this a little further. I was just laughing because I'm like, it reminds me of, it's like, I'm there, gotta deliver the bagels. It's in a fiction. Oh, okay, it is in America. Okay, that's good, that's good. Fictional alternate history America. Okay. Okay. All right, then that makes a little more sense. It still feels awfully like, oh, Trevor. Like, it feels a little too Brooklyn for me, but okay. That does help. That makes a difference.
As much as you want to, we can't handle this ourselves.
We can't handle this.
We can discuss the matter later. In the meantime, the detective would like a word with you.
He is from New York. Well, so am I. I am glad. So am I. I am coming to you from New York as we speak. Could be local voice actors. Yeah, that's true, actually. In fact, I'm almost certain that's what that is. Again, all of this is, if I were really having a hard time, like really annoyed with it, I would just be like, I wouldn't be saying anything. Like, I'm laughing because it's fun, so.
I'll be needing to bring in the flowers first, if that's all right. Otherwise, some hooligan's likely to run off with them.
Hooligans.
My partner will keep an eye on your flowers. Bill, would you mind?
Well, I'm actually a hooligan, so.
Ah, the glamour of police work.
Now, Mr. Hastings, if I could ask you a few questions?
Go on, then.
Oh, here we go. Let's start with you, Hastings.
How long have you been working for Mrs. Hanbrook?
Been about 10 years now, I reckon.
Ever since I got out of the can.
I used to help with deliveries now and then when it was her and David, her husband. But after he passed, she offered to make me her assistant. Unfortunate way to get it, but I needed the work.
Oh, I see. Okay. So.
Used to be I had a job at one of the airship yards, but they let me go after I was injured by one of those newfangled steam machines.
Steam machines. Like, I used to see guys like, well, I lived in Brooklyn, and I used to see guys like this. Literally, I go down to the local bagel shop, and this is what it was.
So the offer came at a good time. Besides that, Cecilia needed looking after, even though she'd never admit it. If I'm being honest, we're both getting a bit long in the tooth. Not sure how much longer we'll be keeping this up.
Ooh, nice. I also have a soft spot in my heart for westerns, also space westerns. This is kind of why I like Destiny, despite myself. I kind of like the setting. But anyway, that's cool. Wild West, I dig it.
But as long as I'm upright and breathing, I'll be bringing these crates along, even if it is murder on my back.
I admire your work ethic.
I've got a job to do. Not enough people these days seem to respect that.
Called Rosewater. That's cool. What was the, Caro said, when he came in here before summer, actually, I think he's still here. Caro said that he had heard this had mixed reviews. How do you, since you know him, Summer, was he happy with the response this got? Because again, I remember Darksaber did play it, but I didn't have a chance to watch it, so I know almost nothing about the game, except that it won, and I had heard that it had this vaguely steampunky thing.
Could you walk me through the process of your deliveries?
Of course. There's no great science to it.
Nice.
On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoons, Cecilia gives me her list of flowers to pick up from the wholesalers. I head over to Gascone around sunset when they get their shipment, and I give them her order.
And is he mostly the team? Is he the main guy? No, I know, I understand. Is he the main guy, do you know, or does he have like a small team that he works with, obviously besides the voice actors?
They load up the crate, I pay for it, and then I lug it back here.
Works together with an artist. Nice.
How long does that take?
Between moving the crate and getting it across the river on the ferry, a couple of hours. Usually the store's closed by then, so I use my key to get in and leave the crate inside for Cecilia to open in the morning. That's all there is to it. Told you it wasn't very complicated.
Cool.
Do you ever leave the crate unattended during that time?
No, sir. Never more than a minute. I may be old, but I got good eyes. I'd see if there were anything amiss. Besides that, I check to make sure the crate is still sealed when I drop it off. I'm not about to let Cecilia down by being careless.
Okay. Oh, sure, I know Wadjet. Yeah, absolutely. I played, oh gosh. The Samaritan Paradox, wasn't that Wadjet? I think that was Wadjet, right? I played the Samaritan Paradox on here a couple years ago. Yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff.
What can you tell me about the recent burglaries?
I wish Cecilia had contacted you a lot sooner. She's a damn fine woman. But sometimes I think she'd rather jump in a rose bush than ask for help.
Every rose has its thorn.
Had to take matters into my own hands. This needs taken care of, and we can't do it on our own, as much as Cecilia would like to. Anyhow, alls I know is someone's been making off with some flowers and leaving money behind. No idea who it could be, how they're getting in, or why they even bother paying. In my day, if you robbed a place, you did it the right way.
My way.
It's a sad state of affairs when even burglars don't do their jobs correctly.
That's right.
Do you have much experience with burglary, Mr. Hastings?
Now, I never said that, Detective.
Have you noticed anyone or anything suspicious around here recently?
Nothing but the usual roughnecks, ragamuffins, and drunkards.
Ragamuffins. I feel like that's a phrase that we need to use more. Yes. But it is, right. But it is actually, but that's true. But it was also, but that is Wadjet Eyes that first did Samaritan Paradox, right? I'm not crazy. I like Samaritan Paradox. Oh, because, so, yeah, because I think Samaritan, because I'm sure I've played games by Wadjet Eyes. Wadjet Eye Studios. I'm sure I have. I just don't remember the particular title because it was some years ago. I thought it was Samaritan Paradox, but maybe I'm wrong. What the heck game did I play? Wait, I'm gonna look at this for a second. Actually, I better wait until I save it. Oh, what the devil? Okay, so then I know I've played a Wadjet Eye game though.
Like I said, it's a real
Let me get out of here and save it before I try to alt
Thanks for your
tab
time,
out.
Mr. Hastings. I'll let you get back to work.
No, I didn't play
Appreciate it,
Shardlight.
Detective. If you don't mind, Detective, I still need to check the crate before I bring it in.
Of course. Thank you again for your help.
Alright, can you let me save it now? Oh, damn it.
Learn anything?
Possibly. I may have an idea.
Right, I know the latest one was unavowed.
Ah, you're being cryptic. That's always a good sign.
But
if you've got a plan, let's talk about it.
okay, I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about it by saving. Okay. I'll know when I see it. Blackwell Legacy. That's what I played. Blackwell Legacy. That's what it was. I knew I played something by them. Okay. So yeah, Blackwell Legacy is what I played by them. I have also played the Samaritan Paradox, but it was Blackwell Legacy that I played. I was like, damn it! I'm like, I know for a fact I played something by them. Okay, so now it makes sense. Yeah, Blackwell Legacy was good. So okay, so my bad. So then this is just another studio, Whispers of a Machine. I feel like I've watched someone playing Whispers of a Machine. I don't remember who, though. But I know for a fact I knew that I had played something by Wadjet, which is not this studio. So, okay. Now I know. Now I got the... Oh, except that it is Grunislav. Good. All right. Okay. Got it. Logical. I'm clear. Now I get it. Okay. Let's take a look at our objectives. All right. Let's ask Bill about surveillance. Okay.
Got a minute, Bill?
For you, Miles, I've got 5.
Whoa. Let's talk about you first.
Still feeling rough, Bill?
Yes, but I'll feel better once this case is finished and we can go down to the Angel for a pint or 4.
Hair of the dog?
No better medicine.
When's the last time you took any time off?
That's a good question. What year is this again?
I think we've both been working a bit too much lately. Addie's been wanting to go visit her mother in Dixie. Maybe we can all go.
That sounds nice, but I wouldn't want to be a third wheel on a visit to your in-laws. Unless Would Adelaide's brother be there by any chance?
You're incorrigible, Bill.
It's one of my finer qualities.
Oh, interesting.
Got any opinions on the upcoming election?
I'll just be glad when it's all over. It seems like the last few months have been nothing but people giving opinions and telling me what to do without a moment's peace.
Interesting.
I know what you mean. I already saw some kids putting up Atwood posters down my street.
I already drew mustaches in all the ones on my street.
Handlebar?
Yeah, you know me too well.
I always thought of Atwood as more of a Van Dyke type of man myself.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, there's something to do tomorrow.
Okay. Let's talk about this.
I've heard of honor among thieves, but have you ever known a thief to pay for stolen goods?
Perhaps conducting normal business is just too boring for him. Do you think he might be doing it for the thrill?
There could be any number of reasons. The best way to find out is to catch the culprit and ask him ourselves. You ever miss living out here, Bill?
About as much as you missed stepping in that pile of horseshit last week.
I was distracted by that story you were telling me about your sister. How's she doing out west, anyway?
Well, she's not in the chum, so fantastic. Living here was about as fun as wearing a vest made of meat to a dogfight. I'm glad we both managed to get out. Oh, and by the way, Miles, you didn't do such a great job of cleaning your shoes.
That would explain all the funny looks I've been getting.
Banter, banter, banter. I'll have to check that list in a second.
What's your impression of dear old Mrs. Hanbrook?
I like her. Good old-fashioned, tough-as-nails Chumley woman. Reminds me of my mother.
Your mother was never quite so stubborn. Why do you suppose she's so reluctant to accept our help?
It's a chum thing, Miles. You wouldn't understand.
Any thoughts on Mrs. Hanbrook's assistant, Trevor?
Yes. I feel
Exactly.
sorry for him.
Why?
He seems to enjoy his work.
Nah, it's not that. He's obviously smitten with Mrs. Hanbrook, but she won't give him the time of day.
Is that person, is the sister, Bill's voice actor is from New York City? I had a feeling. Is that sister maybe the lead in Rosewater, or this new game sequel that I was just told about?
What? You only saw him for a few moments. How in the ether did you get that impression?
The way he looked at her, the way he spoke when he confessed to contacting the police. Shall I go on?
No, that's fine. I see what you mean.
Really, Miles? You'd be surprised what you can learn from people if you just look at them.
Why bother doing that when I've got you to do it for me? Right. Based on what we've been told in our experiment, I can only conclude that our burglar is using the upstairs window to get into the shop.
So what do you propose we do about it?
It's happened repeatedly over the past 3 weeks, on one of the delivery nights. Since it has yet to occur this week, and today is Friday, logic dictates it should be tonight.
So we settle in and wait to see if the burglar returns? Catch him in the act?
Exactly. It's our best chance of solving this before the trail goes cold.
I was really looking forward to getting that drink at the Angel tonight, too.
I know, but it's as you said yourself. There'll be plenty of other opportunities. Besides, forbearance is good for the soul.
Spoken like someone who truly has no idea how to have any fun.
I'm sure I'll get the hang of it one of these days, especially with your expert tutelage.
Okay, let's go have a chat with Mrs. Hanbrook. I'm sure she'll be delighted to know we're spending the night. Damn, I forgot to bring my deck of cards again.
At least it's quiet up here. I'm surprised we didn't go deaf after the last time we did this.
What?
I said... Oh, right. Your sense of humor remains on point.
That's like on point. I don't know. Oh, it is. Okay.
Miles, have you ever considered leaving all this behind?
What, you mean quitting the force?
The force, the city, going off and seeing what else is out there, you know?
I'd miss it too much. Wouldn't you?
I was thinking I might visit Harley out west. She makes it sound like a dream in her letters. Wide open spaces, fresh air. I know I'm a city boy and would probably miss New Britannia's filth and squalor after a week, but...
You should do it. A change of scenery never hurt anyone. Plus, it's much easier for you than it is for me. I've got a family to consider, after all.
Ah, right.
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that, Bill. It's just
that you're a lonely sack. I didn't, I just didn't. I'm sorry.
Shh. I think I heard something.
Aha.
Oh, no.
Bill?
God damn it,
Stop!
you moron,
Police!
Bill.
Damn it! He's gone up the fire escape. We can corner him on the roof. Stay close and keep me covered.
Damn it, Bill.
Bill!
Oh, man, this just got... Well, Bill, this is what happens when you have allergies.
Stay back, officer. I've got a knife. Ready your pistol, Fordham.
But you're too close.
Well, if you're a better shot...
I trust you, Miles. Your pistol, now! There's really no need for this, officer. I respect your desire to uphold justice. Mine is more important.
It seems like a very, very overwrought reaction for a guy who was breaking and entering, taking flowers and leaving money. I mean, like, it's a crime, but...
If you let me go, I won't come back. And we can all forget this ever happened. Don't listen to this lunatic, Miles. Take your shot before things get worse.
Look, we've caught you red-handed. Put down the knife, let my partner go, and give yourself up.
No! I'm not going to jail. Do you know what they do to people in there?
Yes, I do. If you cooperate, I'll see if I can get the judge to ease your sentence.
Oh, brilliant.
I appreciate your tactics, Fordham, but this really isn't the time.
Come on, all you've really done is taken some flowers. You're not a killer. Don't make things worse for yourself.
You don't know anything about me. One thing's for sure. I'm not going to jail. So let me go free, or else your partner is going over the side. Fordham, this madman clearly can't be reasoned with. Take your shot, now!
Feels like an incredible overreaction.
Okay, we'll look the other way just this once. Just let my partner go.
Fordham, are you insane?
Bill, don't! Oh. Bill!
Oh, damn it.
Bill! Oh, God! I am so sorry, my friend. I am so, so sorry.
Wow, that's dark. Like, what? What? 3 months later. It is the premise of the game. No, I mean, that's fine. I just...
Rough night?
Overdid it on the soporific. Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
Oh.
I'm just glad you're in the mood to converse again. Seriously, you took so much of that snake oil last night, I was starting to think you wanted me quiet for good.
It's no personal slight. I just need some quiet time, or I'll go insane.
I get it. We all need our space.
So the ghost returns, which is exactly the premise of Blackwell Legacy as well. I mean, you're working with a ghost.
I know it's not easy, but there's really no need.
Not easy. Bill, I've been hearing your voice since you died. You don't shut up unless I take that accursed medicine. I'd say that qualifies as a bit more than not easy.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel? You think I enjoy being trapped here, listening to you whine about how hard your life's become? You at least still have yours.
I'm losing my grip on reality, and it's all because of you.
Believe me, I know. It's not a pretty situation. But the bottom fact is, you're stuck with me. So you can either keep living this way and ruin your life even more than you already have, or you can do as I've told you and try to figure out a way to let me move on.
Right. For the 1000th time, you want me to find the burglar from the flower shop.
Yes, exactly.
I still don't get how that's going to help.
I've told you several times, although to be fair, if you actually listened to me, I'd still be alive.
Damn it, Bill. Actually, if you weren't, couldn't hang on to your sneeze, I mean...
At any rate, you wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place if not for him. Once the criminal has been caught and is in custody, we'll both get what we want.
Justice?
More than that, you'll have that elusive thing you always wanted to give others. Closure.
You do realize the trail's pretty much frozen at this point. Our man has seemingly vanished into the ether.
That's no excuse not to keep trying. I know the cases Upton's been giving you these past few months haven't been the most thrilling, but they've at least kept you active.
Is in custody.
So just keep at it. Something has to turn up eventually. Unless, of course, you want to wind up in Riverview Asylum. And if that happens, I'm really not going to keep quiet.
Fine.
Good man. Now, I suggest you stop talking to thin air, or Adelaide's going to start wondering if you've gone mental. Or just maybe she'll stop wondering.
Very funny.
All right.
Pretty, but I'm glad I don't have a sense of smell anymore.
So sometimes this is Bill and sometimes it's him.
But when you say it's time for a change of clothes, Miles, you've been wearing that coat for who knows how long.
Oh, okay.
So? Addie gave it to me. Besides, it gives me character.
Right. Brooding detective in a long black coat. That's never been seen before.
What are you talking about, Bill?
Never mind. Remember before you started taking that medicine and you could actually read a book for more than 10 minutes before falling asleep? You were a lot more fun to talk to back then. That's a fun little apparatus Adelaide got you. Very soothing.
Watching it spin long enough puts me right to sleep.
I'd say that's really more the soporifics doing. I always like that self-portrait of Adelaide's mother, even if the eyes do always follow you around the room. Cozy little winter getaway. That would be a welcome change from the winters in this city. Don't worry, Miles. I don't watch when you and Adelaide are having your private time.
Yeesh, that's troubling.
It would be nice if you didn't spend the whole time humming.
I thought you appreciated some romantic music.
God.
Miles, care to explain what you're doing?
Just checking to make sure everything that needs to be in here still is.
Right. If you start taking that stuff during the day, you're really going to have problems. Adelaide's mother certainly enjoyed pressing flowers. Do you suppose she does more of it now that she's retired? It's admirable just how organized Adelaide is. Maybe someday the same can be said about you.
Someday.
Ha, that poster brings back some memories. That's from around the time you two met, isn't it?
Yes, back when Addie was singing at the Angel.
Okay.
Adelaide's mother
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, look who's awake. Ready to rejoin the living?
Hello, Adelaide.
Very much so.
You were talking in your sleep again.
I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. Oh, I hear.
Did I say anything interesting?
Do you ever?
You have to admit,
Damn.
she's got you there.
How are you feeling?
A touch groggy. I think I took a bit too much of the soporific last night.
That's what I thought. When you went for your after-lunch nap, you'd barely gotten breakfast down. I saved you some bread and cheese if you're hungry.
Thank you, but I haven't got much of an appetite.
You really should regulate your doses more carefully, love. I'm sure dull senses and an empty stomach aren't much help to your work. By the way, a message arrived via courier for you this morning. I put it on the table along with today's newspaper.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, dear.
If there isn't a pair of scissors or a hairbrush in Adelaide's hands, you can bet there'll be a book. I always liked that painting. It's impossible to see that kind of scenery here in the city. It might do you some good to look in the mirror a bit more often, Miles. You remember how much time Adelaide had to spend convincing you to sit for this? At least these days, with ferrotype tech advancing the way it is, these portraits can be done in just a matter of minutes.
Wow. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is the actual developer of this game that we are playing in chat. Hello, Grundislav. Hey, chat, say hi. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I am honored. I am in the midst of playing through this really cool game, which I did not know about. I mean, I had heard of it, but I had not played it myself until the chat chose for me to play this. And they voted for me to play this, and so I've been playing through it here. Well, I'm enjoying it so far. And I was actually, since you're here, I will ask you. So I'm curious about, this is obviously set in an alternate history, I was told alternate history America. So I'm curious, I guess, about, you got obviously a bunch of voice talent from different places. What were you pulling from historically to be able to put this together? Like, in other words, what sort of stuff did you look at specifically as historical source material? And also, you know, artistically too. Very much artistically, by the way, this whole thing looks like it's on point. But I was just curious. And I promise I won't interview you in the midst of going through this, because I'll keep streaming it.
How are your parents doing these days? It's been ages since you wrote them. I can see why Adelaide calls that plant Miles Jr. It's a spitting image. Didn't I give you two that clock as a wedding present? Too bad it stopped working. Your book collection has always astonished me. Heaven help you if you ever decide to move. Adelaide's father certainly had an amazing life.
You were inspired by the paintings of John Atkinson Grimshaw. I will fully admit to not knowing that name. I do not know the John Atkinson Grimshaw. I love steampunk, and my particular academic specialty is the Renaissance, specifically Renaissance English drama, but I'm not familiar with that.
Imagine being the personal barber to the Prime Minister and his family. The gossip and secrets he must have heard.
Let's see.
Adelaide's father.
Oh, yes. I saw that.
Building those model ships was a good way to pass the time between cases. Hopefully it'll be a while before you get enough time to build another one.
English 19th century painter famous for 19s. Ah, I see. Okay. That makes sense.
Ah, the Havisham case. Our first time out as partners. First in a long line of successful cases. It's nice to have a memory of the good old days.
So there's got to be some Sherlock Holmes influence for you in this, right? I'm thinking of things like Sherlock Holmes, the Spring-Heeled Jack. There's a speculative fiction novel which you might not have read about I can't remember the first part, The Adventures of, or something like that, Spring-Heeled Jack. I actually interviewed the author for that. But that kind of sort of Victorian, Dickensian, kind of almost London underworld, I'm wondering, might have had some influence. Or at least that's what this is reminding me of. London, New Orleans, New York, and you drew from the works of Poe and Dickens. Okay. Yep. That fits. That totally comes through, yeah. I thought so. And I love both of those. Actually, Charles Dickens is one of the people that I would, the famous, you know, if you could have dinner with any famous person in the world. Tolkien, Shakespeare, George Bernard Shaw, Edgar Allan Poe. Oh, sorry, Charles Dickens. Ah, nope. Hit the wrong button. So, yeah.
It's been so long since you used that desk. Did you even notice when Adelaide got rid of the chair?
Okay.
Ah, to have it. It's nice to have it.
Remembering the HMS Ligeia. This Tuesday marks the 3-month anniversary of the tragic crash of the HMS Ligeia. Oh, wow. So that same airship was destroyed on the same night, or right around the same night, because they had the prints on board, they had told it before. Steampunk elements came in later on. You tried to interpret your own way. Ah, I see. So you weren't necessarily thinking steampunk initially, because I was going to say with the airship, and then you were talking about steam tech and everything, so I was like, it feels steampunky. It also reminds me a little bit of, I don't know if you're familiar with the Mistborn, the Wax and Wane. What is the... Yeah, the Alloy of Law. I don't know if you're familiar with Brandon Sanderson's The Alloy of Law, but that reminds me a lot of this setting also. I don't know if you've had a chance to ever read that. If you haven't, and you do, I think you might be surprised how much this reminds me. It seems very tonally parallel in a lot of good ways. Let's see. The airship burst into flames shortly after departing for England, crashing into Foster Park. All 300 passengers on board, including HRH Prince Harold, were killed, as were 54 bystanders in the park. Royal Maverick Lines conducted an investigation and ruled the crash an accident, citing the ignition of a gas leak. Despite this, rumors of sabotage persist. Royal Maverick vowed to instill stricter safety regulations going forward, and that the Legaea's sister ship, the HMS Lenore, would be extremely safe upon its completion. There has been public outcry and protests at the blah blah blah. Gascon Grand Dame dies. Madame Laura Dupre, age 44, died on Saturday of apparent natural causes. Born Laura Chesterton in London in 1800, she and her family moved to New Britannia in 1804. 1818, she married Colonel Andrew Shepherd, a royal officer 30 years her senior. Marriage lasted 1 year, ending with Shepherd's death during a trip to Piedmont. Shortly after, Dupree married Benjamin Montgomery, a doctor. They had 2 children, Juliet, born 1820, Andrew, born 1821. Sadly, Benjamin died of tuberculosis in 1830. 5 years later, Laura married Jean Dupre, a banker. Dupre was known throughout the community as a great humanitarian for a policy of exclusively employing humans rather than using automated service machines in her manor. Funeral services to be held, blah, blah, blah. Steampunk angle was suggested by the former publisher. Ah, interesting. So you would not necessarily have wanted to do as much steampunk then? Am I understanding that right, Grundislav? Ethericity. Or no, Ethericity. Ether City. There we go. Ethericity. It's real and it's coming, says scientist. The existence of ethericity, a substance said to possess both energetic and restorative properties, was first put forth 2 years ago by Dr. Bennett Clark. His presentation at the annual Vespuccia Science Conference at the University of New Britannia was extremely divisive. Dr. Clark claims that ethericity exists in small amounts on Earth, but is mainly located in the celestial region commonly referred to as the ether. Imagine electricity, but hundreds of times more powerful. In addition to powering our lights and machines, it can also significantly reduce the effects of aging and heal the sick. The sky will no longer be the limit, he described. Dr. Clark has yet to secure significant funding for his experiments, as his harshest critics have dismissed him as a crackpot. However, there are those who believe that, blah, blah, blah. Second bizarre... Yeah, that was my curiosity as well, Summer. Second bizarre murder baffles police. Rosewater's doubling down on it. Good. I am a fan of steampunk, and I always have a soft spot in my heart for the West, so a lot of times I see this stuff in sort of weird West and things like that. I am an author, Grundislav. I write speculative fiction, so I've had a chance to spend a lot of time with colleagues talking about various genres and subgenres. I also am a professor, so I teach this, so I always find that interesting. Second bizarre murder baffles police. New Britannia police are investigating a murder in Chumley, similar to one which occurred in that borough just last month. Though many details are confidential at this time, we're able to confirm both victims have been male and died from gunshot wounds. New Britannia police, now you're worried, declined to reveal any further details. Worried about what? That I'm going to be like, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to do that. Denied rumors that the murders are being committed by a serial killer. We have no reason to believe these murders are related, said Chief of Police Reginald Snelling. I feel like anyone with the name Reginald Snelling who's a Chief of Police is automatically a moron. Like, if there's anything that has been proven to us, any chief inspector or policeman or head of any is always dumb. I feel like that's just always, you know. We have our finest detectives on the case, hope to find whoever perpetrated these awful crimes very soon. In the meantime, we ask the citizens of New Britannia, especially those in Chumley, to remain vigilant and report any and all suspicious activity immediately to a police officer. Coverage will continue as the story unfolds. He's not dumb, but he's an ass. Well, okay. Also that. I hope there's a scene in here somewhere where Miles does the whole, like, Snelling is like, got him in front of the classic police movie thing where he's just like, you're done, Snelling, turn in your badge. And you're done, Miles, turn in your badge. And he starts like putting all the weapons on the table. He takes out the flintlocks and the swords and the dueling canes and like all this stuff on the desk. Fordham. A big case has come in which I think will interest you. Meet me at the Raven Coffee House for more details. See Upton.
Upton says she's got a big case for me.
Does she go into any more detail than that?
No, but then you know Upton. Always on a need-to-know basis.
How did you get the voice actors, Grundislav? Did you put out an open call?
Especially since she's been giving me these cases under the table.
To be fair, they haven't exactly been anything of note.
True, but she's still sticking her neck out for me. I can understand why she's so secretive about it.
You worked with the casting director?
I think she just misses having you around the station.
Poor Connie. With you quitting and me dying, she must be bored stiff at work.
Anyway, I'm supposed to meet her at the ruined coffee house. That can't be right.
It's not like Constance to make mistakes. She must have gotten in somehow.
Guess I'll head over there and see what she's got then.
Okay.
Addie?
Yes, dear?
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you, there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
Sure.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
Oh, the casting director who also works with Wajidai. Nice, nice.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
Well, his voice is speaking to me when I'm walking around during the day. And she's like, "Whoa," and like calls the insane asylum.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all.
Dead things. Dead ghost things. Dead ghostly ghosts. I need to deal with ghosts that are dead things.
It won't always be like this, I promise.
Until they stop being dead.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
Shut up, voice in my head.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am. What's that you're reading?
How to Get a Distant Husband Who's on This Edge of Insanity to Pay More Attention to You by...
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke.
Or that.
It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
Because Bill is just like, what is love? Oh, baby, don't... I imagine that's what Bill does all the time.
That is a pity.
How's work going? You have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon grand dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
I don't know what you mean, stubble, hair. Right? Exactly, Summer.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you. You know, Addie, I'm wondering if I could have perhaps a roll for dinner. Perhaps a Rickroll. Never gonna give you... Sorry. Bill's voice actor did like singing. No kidding.
I'll let you get back to your book.
How many voice actors did you have for this, Grundislav? There's the Blueberries Things Met at Work. Awesome. Yeah, how many voice actors did you have for this? Front door, okay. Let's save it, I think. $20. Did you... Grundislav, did you... because I'm not familiar with the sort of funding history of this. Did you kickstart this? Was your sort of company, the publisher you were working with / the company, your own individual work, were you able to fund it yourself? Because that's a lot of voice actors, I'm sure, as you know. I have a team of voice actors that we call the Arvocalists here that are professionals. Trendane Sparks is the guy who did the voice of the bad guy whose name I never remember, but one of chat will tell me in a second, in Battletech. George Ledoux is a longtime 20-year plus voice actor, has done stuff for me before. So I have a number of those folks. 24. The publisher funded VO and music. Wow. Espinoza, yeah, thank you, Echo. So anyway, I'm curious, because I have, my team is like 4 or 5 people, and I always feel bad because I'm never able to fund them enough or pay them enough. Wow, that's crazy. That's a cast of, not thousands, but I mean, 24 is a big cast. That's awesome. Still though, that's a lot.
Enjoy your reading. I'll be back soon.
How much writing would you say... Exactly, that's true, Echo. How much writing, Grundislav, went into this, would you say? Is this... Includes Grundy himself, nice. Would you say that was, you know, could you break it down to a certain number of thousands of words of script? Obviously, which you don't hear all of it during the game, depends on decisions you
I
make,
wish
but...
you'd let me fix your hair before you go out like that.
It'll be fine.
Okay. City of New Britannia. Green Coffee House. Okay. 8,500 lines.
Ah,
nice.
UN Coffee House. Worst Java in Lamplight City. But there's no better place to overhear all the rumors and gossip in town. Just make sure you don't get too close to the other patrons. Discretion was never your forte.
Fort, not forte. Painting.
Self-Portrait as a Desperate Man by B. Calvert. A bit like looking in the mirror, isn't it, Miles?
Charming. Bill, charming to the last.
Nice seaside landscape. Definitely a stark contrast to the ambiance in here. Green's sulfur soap. Beautifies the complexion, leaves you smelling fresh as a daisy. Talk about false advertising. I couldn't get a date for a week after using that stuff. Dr. Tennyson's Vigor Pills. Absolutely guaranteed to restore vitality, youth, and vigor or your money back. For use by men only. These things seem to have had a spike in popularity recently. Dr. W.S. Sales'
I like these little
Wonder
details.
Tonic, the best and safest medicine for both gentlemen and ladies. Prevents consumption, general weakness, feverishness, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, loss of appetite, flatulence, and head pain. They should also mention that it prevents breathing, heartbeats, and being alive. Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning
What's up,
pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea for them. Simon Banks, professional chimney sweep. Services start at 2 coppers per hour. Inquire at 305 Merrick Lane. I'm sure he's a lovable urchin, but thankfully, your chimney is clean. P.D. Preston's patented papier-mâché perambucat. Handsomely upholstered in silk, satin, or velvet, and hand-painted in the most artistic manner, as shown in engraving.
I dig it.
I suppose if you and Adelaide ever finally decide to have children, something like this will come in handy. What a cheery reminder of everyone's impending death. That whole thing about the man in the black robe, complete lie, by the way. Not in much of a hurry to clean up in here, are they?
It's like The Sims.
All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee?
What's up, patron?
Best avoid that one. He looks like he might tip over at any moment.
2 coppers, a bunch of flowers of fortune. Yeah, we were saying, we were actually saying, because Caro, I don't know if you were here just now, if you were here before, but Grundislav, who's the actual developer of this, is actually in chat with us, which is an honor. But we were saying that if we understood correctly how much the Easter lilies were, they were about 20 shillings, which, again, now alternate history, but back in the mid-19th century, I mean, 20 shillings would have been the equivalent of, like, that's a lot of money for Easter lilies, isn't it? We were just curious about, because it seemed like a lot of cash for the amount of what was going on there. We were curious.
Reminds me of when I was alive. Ah, good times. He and his friend are having quite the conversation. I bet it's really boring. He's missing his left arm below the elbow. How do you suppose that happened?
Right. Whoops. I meant to just look at you.
If it isn't my old friend, up to no good.
Okay. You have your economics page somewhere in the design doc? Okay, I was just
Hello,
curious.
Fordham. It's good to see you.
How did you get them to let you in here?
It's rather simple, really. The owner and I have an understanding. He pretends women are allowed in coffee houses, and I don't report his unsavory business practices to Chief Snelling.
Sounds like a good deal. What sort of unsavory business practices are we talking about?
Oh, we haven't got time to get into that now. But take some advice. Don't order anything that isn't water.
Managed to sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Managed to sneak another case past Snelling, eh?
Oh.
Yes, and if he finds out I did, it won't be pretty. This is a big one. We're not in Lost Cat territory anymore.
So stop teasing me and tell me what it is already.
Do you know Madame Laura Dupre?
I read about her in the newspaper.
Laura Dupre. She's one of those Gascon Grand Dames, isn't she?
Yeah, because I pay attention to what I'm reading, all right?
That's right. I'm surprised you've heard of her. I didn't think you cared about those types of people.
I focus on the lore, lady. Not the Lord, although I would also like to focus on that when need be. I'm focusing on the lore. I know.
I don't, but Adelaide has several of them as clients. She gets paid to pretend to care about their lives, and I get to hear the sort of details.
I'm the best kind of player because I read up on this stuff. Listen, I've written, yeah, as I said, I'm an author, so I've written for games as well, both video games and also I was lead writer on one video game, which is way, way early in development. And then also did writing for a number of board games and the like, and I had a D&D supplement that I'm putting out too, that is coming out from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And so whenever I see something like this, I want to click on, I want to read everything. Everything, like, because, you know, the detail is it's the immersiveness of the detail that gets to it, right? If the details become really boring and tedious, then that's one thing. But almost always these things to me are engaging precisely because they sort of add texture and richness to the world. So I'm all about that world building, man. For sure. For more lore. You can overhear their conversations. For more lore. I'm going to get more lore. All right, I'm totally going to do that. What's up, DJ? Thanks for the host.
Madame Dupre died the day before yesterday. Her funeral was held this morning.
Okay, I'm going to do that in just a minute.
My condolences.
But halfway through the service, the mourners heard a loud knocking coming from inside her coffin.
She wasn't dead?
Apparently not. Nearly interred alive, although her doctor swears she had no pulse. Dupre's son Andrew was quick to suspect foul play. He accused a man named Albert Martin, and the police arrested him.
10 cents that it's going to be the same person responsible somehow for the flower thing.
So where do I come in? Sounds like the case has already been solved.
I strongly suspect that Martin is innocent, especially considering the talk of him having used black magic on Dupre. The police feel they have enough evidence to convict, so they're not bothering to investigate any further. You're going to look into it and see if I'm right, then find the person who was really behind this.
I'm going to decide what I want to do, lady. Why not just ask her?
Why not just ask Madame Dupre herself?
She hasn't spoken since the ordeal. Apparently, she's been catatonic since they pulled her out of the coffin.
That would suck. That entire experience would suck.
How unfortunate.
If you'd like to question Mr. Martin, he's being held at the Bow Street Jail. Or you could take a look around his house. It's at 451 Compton Street in Worcester.
And the Dupre
What's
home?
that?
That's at Emmeline and Comtesse, right across from the old Angeline convent.
I feel like we go to his house, then go to the jail and confront him, then go to her home. That's what I would say.
It's also possible you might run into the police during your investigation, since they're technically still on the case.
Thanks for the warning.
All right.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about before you get started?
Yes, actually, I had a couple of questions.
Let's hear them then.
Let's talk about you.
How are things going with you?
Work is hectic as usual, and I'm spending my day off in here.
Now, Grundislav, you are the main, obviously you're the programmer for this, and according to some of the other folks, including Summer, and, I want to make sure I don't get his name wrong. Where'd he go? And Tomaka Satnav, according to those two, No, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks, Sarah. No, it's good to see you, man. But I know you're the programmer developer. So basically it was just you working with an artist. My understanding is for this next game, you're going to also be doing the art. So are you basically going to be essentially a one-man shop except for the voice talent and the music? I'm just curious how much you're going to do on your own.
But considering my home life is still a shambles, maybe this is the best place to be.
Oh, you did the art on Lamplight City. So this was your art too. Oh, okay. So you're doing it all again. Okay, I was told that you had another artist that you worked with. Okay, so you're pretty much a one-stop shop. Man, I cannot get over that stuff when I see people like this. I'm a writer and a musician. I am not an artist. My visual art ability is nil. So I'm always extremely impressed with that.
I'm truly sorry about that.
Don't be ridiculous. If it hadn't been for you, I'd still be chained to that philandering bastard. It hasn't been easy, but I'm much better off this way. Trust me. Anyway, work gives me something to focus on. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes, and I'm grateful to you for getting me these case leads. I know you're taking a risk to do it.
It's the least I can do. How about you? How's Adelaide?
She's fine, although things between us could be improved, if I'm being honest. The less said about it right now, the better, I think.
Mostly because I am a mess, and I won't admit that I'm a mess. And if I ever admitted I'm a mess, then everything would be great between us again. But I haven't admitted I'm a mess.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can talk to me about it if you need to, although I'm probably not the best person to ask for relationship advice.
Okay, how do I stop being a clown? Can you just answer me that? That would be... Oh, no, that's fine, Summer. That's fine. I'm glad that Grundislav is here, so we found out the skinny on everything. But no, that's fine. No. That is not necessary.
Don't suppose there have been any developments regarding Bill's murder?
Unfortunately not. The department hasn't exactly been focusing on that case as a priority. The general attitude is that it was an accident. Bill died an honorable death in the line of duty.
Would have been nice if they bothered saying that at the funeral.
How to stop being a clown. What's up, Paxi? How are you, Paxi?
And of course, there are still those who blame you for his death, Snelling being the first and foremost.
Snelling's a clown, too.
But the man who killed him is still out there.
Yes, I know, but it looks like you're on your own if you want to find him. My hands are tied. I can only ask around so much before the higher-ups get suspicious. Just don't give up. New Britannia may be a big city, but the criminal world is surprisingly close-knit.
That's true. You now have a 9-month blue quill. I mean, like, whew. That is quite an exclusive club.
If you find any connections or leads during your other cases, be sure and let me know. I'll do the same if I find anything out.
Soon it shall be mine.
See,
that's true.
She has a priority stream. You could learn a lot from up there.
You speak the truth, Aaron.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper.
That makes two of us.
She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too.
So this is also entirely your story, Grundislav? This is your story and plot and all as well? So your story, your art, your programming. Did you also do the music? Like, did you do absolutely everything?
They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
That's enough about the case for now.
You didn't do the music, but everything else is you? Wow, it's impressive.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Then you'd better get back to it.
I asked this of your viewers.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to help you find the flower shop burglar.
I'm going to help. I asked this actually of your the Discord folks and the fans of the game who are in here, but I will ask you. You know, I understand if you can't get into specifics, but were you happy with the response to this? Were you happy with the overall kind of reception of this game? Because as I said, I had heard about it, and I know that fellow GOG streamer of mine, Darksaber, actually streamed this. I didn't have a chance to watch that. So I knew nothing about the game other than the fact that it had this sort of steampunk element to it, and then my chat voted for me to play this. So how, I mean, as you sort of set up for Rosewater, do you feel like, were you pleased with the sort of initial response that you got? You did all the voices. Not quite that much. Also, what's up, Kilobyte?
But I suppose freeing an innocent man is a worthy diversion.
Okay.
Good to see you up and about again.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been easy. But it was either go back to work or spend all day in bed and starve.
Now, it was good of them to keep your spot open. Lots of places would have just put in someone else.
Well, it's the least they could have done. Been there for 20 years, after all. The boss takes care of his own, especially considering it was his machines that chewed up my arm.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. More bosses should be like that.
Nice.
Hard to believe it's already been 3 months since the big crash.
I'm just gonna keep listening.
I know. I was just thinking the other day how much Lucy has grown up in such a short amount of time.
Does she understand what happened?
I think so. She's been asking questions about her mama lately, but I still haven't told her the whole story.
You'll know when the time is right.
Right, Paxi? No, that's really cool.
So what do you think will happen if this ethericity stuff turns out to be real?
Honestly, nothing. The rich will stay rich, and the poor will stay poor.
That's a pretty dark way of seeing it. They're saying it'll improve everyone's lives.
They'd say that about eating rat poison if they thought it meant earning an extra crown.
Well, I prefer to think positive. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll have my hand back.
Did you have
that? And I got a bridge in the chum to sell you.
This is really cool. Did you have any hand at all in the Blackwell Legacy, Grundislav, which I have played and liked quite a bit?
So you plan on going to the Lygia Vigil tonight?
Nah. I heard Harris is gonna be giving a speech. There's no way I could look that man in the face.
You know it's not his fault, right? I think he's getting an unfair reputation.
Okay.
If he cared enough to make sure the airship was safe, it never would have crashed. He's as much at fault as anyone.
You really should go. Eliza would have wanted it, I think.
I know, you're right. I'll think about it.
Asleep at a coffee house. One of life's little ironies. A young woman holding a guitar. Completely the wrong way, I might add. If this is how they store their coffee beans, it's probably a better idea to ask for tea. Give me an old-fashioned tea kettle any day. She's running back and forth at lightning speed. Clearly, she dips into the coffee supply.
Okay.
How are things at the steel mill?
This is gonna be my last eavesdrop.
Same old, same old.
I love this,
Have they
though.
brought in any of the new automated machines?
I love the eavesdropping thing.
Not yet, but the boss has been talking about it. Some of the boys have been talking, and they ain't happy about the idea.
Well, you didn't hear this from me, but I heard the Redites are gonna be making some moves very soon.
The Reddit?
The Redites? I thought they was just a story.
Oh no, they's real, all right.
Hello, Reddit.
But this ain't the place to be talking about it. Forget I said anything.
I dig it. By the way, Grundislav, is there a way to resize the window? Or is it just windowed mode, this is the window you get, and it's either that or full screen? You named your Luddites after Reddit? Nice. You got all these places to check out. But yeah, do you know, is there a way to resize it? I mean, I guess I could probably put in command arguments or whatever. I think I should go to this dude's home first. You can set the resolution of the window in the game setup. You mean in here? It doesn't make a huge difference. Oh, in the external... Oh! WinSetup.exe. Well, I'm not going to bother to do it now because I've only got about another half hour that I'm streaming this, but I will try to consider that for later. The WinSetup.exe, huh? I didn't even notice that. I'm running it through GOG Galaxy, so... yeah. Let's go to 451 Compton Street.
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
Oh, be included in the games folder. See, I'm not familiar. I'm sure I have played Adventure Game Studio games before, but I didn't even realize. I mean, I'm guessing that Blackwell Legacy / Samaritan Paradox might have, one of those might have used. Or what was the one that we were playing? The one that you love, Echo, that I was doing with the Art Vocalists with Turing. The Devil was the name of that game. Yeah, I hope so, Kill. Read-only memories, yeah. 2064 read-only memories. So I probably, one of those games somewhere, I've played an Adventure Game Studio game. Okay. Got a door, we've got...
Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Yeah, the problem really with that...
Bonbon's restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
Yeah, the problem with that, Echo, is that the game was just honestly getting tedious. It took a very, very long time to get underway, and then there was a certain point where I felt like we were just kind of going over the same ground, and the pace, the pace at which everything unfolded was glacial. So it was one of those things where it just really, I think, got tiresome for the actors as much as anything else. And I've got to be conscious of that, especially when I do stuff for the Art Vocalists, that it's important that everyone's having a good time, because if they're not having a good time, it kind of puts a damper on everybody, you know.
I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
I like those little subtle touches.
One of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Okay.
Spoil sport. Considering how I do...
Let's do it. Door.
I'm sorry. I have no time for visitors today.
Need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
What?
Good day to you, sir.
What do you mean? Just kick open the door.
You again. I told you I have no time for visitors.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
Why would he say that? I'm like, yo, tell me what I want to know. Where's Rachel? Swear to me. Okay. So much for that idea. All right. Maybe the jail first, then Albert Martin.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
I could say the same for you, Santa Claus.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you, too.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Damn.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he? He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business. I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention. Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well.
Or both.
Not much of a view. But then it's not as though people in here are meant to have many luxuries. Not much in the way of comfort. No bed or even a bucket. It's a good thing this place is meant for short stays.
That's either a broom or a cat of nine tails. All right, let's talk.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No,
I'm your
actually
worst
here to help
nightmare.
you. The name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Swear to me.
How are you going to help me?
I'm Batman.
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupre. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, Thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
No, this is music to your ears. I'm innocent. I'm not that innocent. I don't believe that you killed that man. I think that it was by a guy named Dan. Okay.
Do you mind answering a few questions for me?
VOD muted.
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Okay.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
I mean, I would. So if it wasn't about the noose, you'd lie like a rug, is what you're telling me. Let's talk about himself.
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupre. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
Mama just used black magic, put a spell upon her head, gave her coffins, now she's dead.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
By being a voodoo witch.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She helps them with things that need helping.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
Right.
She's a spiritualist.
Not quite. She's more like... how can I explain it?
An evil witch?
You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people?
Well, she's a Satanist who spreads the word of the devil to the...
My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does.
I called it. I said voodoo witch is what I called. I called it.
People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Just a little bit of chicken blood has never hurt anyone.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Hoodoo. You do?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
No, of course not. Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
Just forget it. I'm not at all a little overly sensitive. What's up, Dragon Spear? That is correct. That is correct. What's up, man? I have sent you your ArvCon prize, Dragon.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupre?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her.
So far, I like it, Echo.
Whoever attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
Hang on.
So it wasn't you, then?
No. I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin.
I like it. I sent it. I mailed it this morning. So it should be getting to you sometime later this week, Dragon. Yeah, so far I like it. I think that if I'm being completely honest, and of course, you know, we have the developer in chat, so I always feel a little odd making any kind of criticisms whatsoever of a game when the dev's in chat. I like the alternate history take on it. I think the music works out really well. I think the art is appropriate for it too. I like the feeling of the way that the story is developing. If I have to be honest, I would say that there are some dialogue anachronisms which feel a little weird to me, and the pace of the story is a little slow to get moving. It kind of takes a while before you feel like you're really engaged in actually doing anything. But I mean, that said, we're only what, like 2 hours into it, maybe hour and 45 minutes. And so I like the way that the story is sort of developing. I think the characters are neat, and there's some really, and the setting is on point. Like, there's a lot of really interesting setting details. I love the being in the coffee shop and overhearing conversations and the advertisements on the walls and all that kind of stuff. I really dig that. So I think the setting is really immersive, and I think there's a good feel to the way the game is developing, is what I would say. Don't be nice on your account. It's not huge. It's a decent sized dragon, but it's not huge. No. I'm not. I don't. I try to be honest about how I feel about things, but I also try not to be like a jerk and be like, here we go. It's slow to get going because you're unwilling to miss any lore. That is because, Summer, I must have the lore. All right? I don't want to just race through the world. I need lore. Lore and pace. Pace and lore.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
Disagree. There are ways for stories to pace and move forward where the atmosphere is communicated through things other than just the reading of different aspects of lore. And I'm not really talking about the overall touches that slow it down. I think it's more getting into the main qualities and characteristics of the story. Because I read reasonably quickly, even on stream. So I think there's other things that are there. But again, oh yeah, really? But again, like, see, but I'm a patient person though. So that is not going to be a deal breaker for me. Like, I would continue to play it. But since Echo asked me how I feel about it less than 2 hours into the game, that's what I would say. So far, though, I mean, I've been enjoying kind of watching the story kind of unfolding. Oh, for sure. Oh, you're trying to fix that in Rosewater. Well, you know, the other thing, too, I mean, I've had this discussion before with people. You know, the opening, obviously the openings of anything, game, story, or anything else is, you know, extremely important. Clearly, there has been more attention paid to getting into the movement of the story faster, but I think sometimes I notice that my students overreact to that, and they think what you mean is that you need to be, you know, the classic bang, 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 5 shots and I was out like a light. You don't need to start, you know, in the midst of massive action. It doesn't need to be, you know, Uncharted 2, right? Is it Uncharted 1 or Uncharted 2, which begins with him hanging off the train? Like, you don't need to start, like, in the middle of that. But the sort of forward momentum of what is going to happen in the story, the forward momentum of the major aspects of what is going to occupy the characters, the sort of main thematic things, establishing those relatively early, I think, becomes important, in my opinion. But again, this is not in any way, though, tedious or boring. I have also played games like that, and those games I do not like. This is not tedious or boring in the least.
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Mr. Sensitive?
Yes, you could say that.
There was a time I murdered his sister, but that was all.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliet Montgomery.
Aha!
Dupre doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Well, I find that a good way to appeal to your significant other is to attempt to kill her parent. I find that threatening one of the significant other's parents does wonders for your relationship. It really bonds you.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and loving as my dear Juliet.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Not much.
Tell me about Juliet.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul.
What light beyond yond winter breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the...
She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days.
Mm-hmm. You've been friend-zoned, son.
Juliet wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
Well, I was putting a hex on her father, and...
We met at the university.
That too.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliet studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse.
This guy's voice actor is solid, I think.
We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliet actually wanted to hear what I had to say, had the same taste in books and art. Didn't just treat me like some piece of... She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well.
Accident.
From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
He was second to record. Nice.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. How often is Juliet in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
Okay.
That's all for now.
Oh, wait, before you go...
Let me give you this voodoo doll.
Would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
Would you tell her 666 flowers of the demon await? She'll understand what it means. Thank you.
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
Why am I going to carry this dude's message? Like, for all I know, he's given the order of, like, okay, that means unleash the zombie apocalypse. Like, why would... Sure, I'll go tell her that.
I suppose I could do that, yes.
I won't, because are you out of your mind? But...
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Okay. Okay, let's save it here. The fork is in the jelly. Exactly. All right, University of New Britannia. Let's hit up 451 Compton Street, which is where I went first to begin with. Not gonna ignore me this time, lady.
You again. I told you I have no time for visitors.
The dog barks thrice at midnight. Albert gave me a message for you.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Rock's dog is barking.
Also, London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down.
Oh, I see. That's good. That's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do.
Oh my god. Our plan is unfolding exactly as we have foreseen. So be it, Fordham.
Welcome to my home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business.
I believe nothing of the sort, madam.
Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
It meant take this guy out.
No, thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
The Virgin Mary? I must admit she was the last person I was expecting to see in here. A rather unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies.
How long did it take you to develop and design this game, would you say, Grundislav, soup to nuts?
For all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
About 2.5 years. Lost Files of Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Yeah, Dragonspear. Grundislav is the developer of this game, so he's been with us for about an hour, and it's been fun chatting with him and getting details about the making of all this.
A rather unremarkable book collection.
Oh, I already heard that.
That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily.
I love Sherlock Holmes.
Interesting.
Also, so.
Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves. It's some old man with a dog standing at the
Gabriel
center of a
Knight.
crossroads.
Yeah.
If that's meant to have any sort of significance, it's completely lost on me.
Oh my god. I remember I played Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, and I played... Oh god, what was the more modern one where it was like, the picture was like this werewolf's face with like a white sheet stretched over it? It was like Gabriel Knight something. I played that too, and I actually never finished Sins of the Fathers, and I played that one that I can't remember the title of all the way through, but it's been 20 years probably. Yeah, The Beast Within. Yep. I played Beast Within. I like that game a lot, but again, it was been forever since I played it. I remember very little of it. Yeah, it's cool, right, Aaron? I agree. All right. Suppose she'll want me to talk to her first.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
First, tell me what I want
What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
Oh, well, thank you, Summer.
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asugwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen.
That's... Thank you, Echo. Well, you've been given a sub to the channel. You are now one of our subscribers, Grundislav, for at least a month. Thank you, Echo, for doing that. I appreciate that. So now, Grundislav, we officially have a developer on our subscriber list. That is great. Enjoy the custom emotes and the sub badges and all that stuff. Thanks, Echo. Oh, very, very cool, Summer. Yes, you get a white quill. I should say, as you advance through the ranks, if you ever decided to, you get a yellow quill at 3 months, a red quill at 6 months, a blue quill at 9 months, and a bronze quill at 1 year. And then if they ever open up to affiliates, the 2 and the 3 year badges, I got those too. So, but anyway, now you can develop the games in style. No, thank you also, Summer, for spreading the word and letting him know that we were here. I got about another 10 minutes on this, by the way, and then I'm going to unfortunately have to wrap because I have to get ready for my stream at 4 over on GOG, but I got another 10 minutes or so.
I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's name.
Actually, your time would be better spent answering my questions.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
In detail? And whether you're tax exempt?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Oh, very nice. Okay, sounds good. I'll see you over there. And thank you, Echo, again. That was very kind of you. Thank you for the gift sub, for gift subbing Grundislav 1. Thanks, Echo.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
Why don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
Oh, jeez.
He's all the family I have, Mr. Fordham.
Okay.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Rock is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Or it means feed him some line of BS.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
For example, you don't realize that right now I'm gradually poisoning you. I mean, yeah, mysteries are good. I think we all like mysteries.
True, but if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job. What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupre's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them, we're just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
I remember you talking about the inspirations for this, Grundislav, but was this set, was this supposed to be set in, I know alternate history, 19th century Southern America, like Louisiana, New Orleans? Was this like basically, is this, because if that's true, then it feels a little bit almost Interview with a Vampire-ish. I mean, 19th century version of it. But is it meant to be kind of like alternate New Orleans? A little bit. When I started seeing it's set around Virginia. Okay. Okay. So definitely south. Yeah, because I was wondering about with the Creole and stuff like that. Okay. You get a concept map when you beat the game. Cool. Cool, cool. Okay. Madame Dupre.
Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupre?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
First of all, she's a jerk.
Nothing fit for a polite conversation, Mr. Fordham. But I can tell you this, Laura Dupre has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
All right.
Amazing. Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You stalked my profile. Yes, I am. I am actually in Riverdale, New York. And I heard that you were also a New York City person. In fact, one of my voice actors, who is in our vocalist team that I mentioned, is also New York City based. So there's a lot, you know, us New York City types, right? There's a lot of us, I guess. You're in Brooklyn. Ah, nice. You know, I recognized a couple of Brooklynish accents from some of these authors too. I actually lived in Park Slope for a year, and then I lived over on Pacific Street and 4th Avenue for a couple years before we moved over here. I like working with local actors. Yeah, I dig it. Well, there's worse places to be if you want to find a bunch of actors than New York for sure. That's cool. That's really cool. Anyone you know who does VO, send them my way. I will. I will send Rob your way, who's very, very good. Most of my voice actors are in California. There's 2 in California. There's 1 in Georgia. And then there's 3 in California and 1 in Georgia. But one of them is in New York, and that's Rob. So I will let him know.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin. I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
Just one, really?
I'll try to answer them
Confess.
the best I can.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
I've got it saved.
I had a look behind your curtain. Care to explain what all those things in that back room are?
Duh!
Mr. Fordham, I was under the impression you could be trusted. Clearly, Albert was wrong about you.
Why are you keeping them out of view? What's their significance?
I don't like people invading my privacy, Mr. Fordham. You're no longer welcome in my home. Please leave.
But without me, your son won't get out of jail. Nobody else thinks he's innocent.
Thank you, Shatter, for the host. I mean, for the raid, I should say. Thank you for the raid, dude. What's up, Isturma?
Are you really going to put your pride over your son's life?
And now you insult me? You're really something special.
Just speaking the truth.
I won't say it again. Get out!
Your son's screwed.
You clearly hit a nerve there, Fordham.
Rather suspicious, if you ask me. Perhaps her and Mr. Martin's religious practices aren't as innocent as they claim to be.
An interesting notion.
I don't know that I like that. All right, sounds good. Good to see you, Shatter. Yeah, I'm going to be done here in just a couple of minutes anyway.
Amazing.
Good question.
They obviously have some important...
Okay, so I already know about that. I'll come back. She does this thing.
The T-shirt.
You're very kind.
Okay.
I've got a few.
Talk to
I'll
her.
try to.
Thank you, by the way, for being able to skip through these. Thank you for making it possible to skip through lines. That really makes it so much nicer.
I beg your...
And also the fact that you can save anywhere. Thank you.
Actually, never mind. I misspoke. Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
She's not going to be much help right...
See ya.
Aren't you going to have your tea, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
Well, wait a minute. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to see what happens with this tea. You can double click to exit? Okay.
Amazing.
Right.
Good question.
They obviously...
Alright.
The tea should be...
You're very kind. I've got a few questions.
I'll try.
Back room.
I beg your...
I don't know about...
Actually, no. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay. You do never get the tea? Oh, okay. I was like, maybe I
Aren't
should
you
wait
going to
around.
have your tea, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
Interesting. All right, we've got Compton Street, which is where I am right now. Bow Street Jail, I already went there. Prey Manor, Bristol, New Britannia. So maybe there and then back there. But all of that is going to have to wait for a future. Session, because unfortunately, as much as I have been enjoying this, I am going to have to head out and get ready for my 4 o'clock stream over at GOG. If you are going to be sticking around, awesome. Please make sure that you head over to GOG at 4 p.m. Eastern, where I'm going to be continuing another adventure game, actually, Spycraft, which is good as well. So I want to thank everyone who was here, and especially I want to thank, in particular, Summer, who was here, and Summer for letting Grundislav know. And I want to thank Grundislav for coming in and spending a little time with us. This is a fun game. I was actually really enjoying getting some of the details of the story as they began to unfold. I really am glad that it seems like there's a lot of effort and thought that went into the different details of it. As I said, I really like the immersive aspects of it. And best of luck on Rosewater as well. And if, down the line, if down the line you are looking to sort of get more people knowing about the sequel when it's done, or I shouldn't say the sequel, set in the same world, but the later game that you're interested in, please let us know, drop us a line, and we'd be interested in being able to talk to you for a release like that, either over on GOG, where I stream, of course, or on my own channel. But thank you. I appreciate it, and for joining for chat. No, I appreciate it. It's always fun to have the developers here, and he had some very good thoughts about it, and was with some excellent insights. So I appreciate that very much. So thank you, Grundislav, and chat. If you liked what you saw, you should go get this game, because obviously the developer is accessible, which is a good thing. And yeah, so thank you, Grundislav, and thank you, Summer, for letting me know about it. I appreciate it. Also, thanks to all of you in general. Thank you to Echo for the gift sub to Grundislav, and thank you all for being here. Don't forget the YouTube with !ArvTube, the Discord with !ArvCord. Don't forget about the website, arvaneleron.com. My Twitter, !ArvTweets. Please make sure to follow me over there. And then obviously, please, the financial ways to support, !ArvShop, which is my merchandise area. Don't forget about the Patreon, !ArvTreon, sitting right there. That's kind of the financial backbone of the channel. Good things for you, good things for the channel. And the sub button that several of you have used today, which allow you to use those awesome custom sub emotes and things of that kind. Also, as a reminder, 2 weeks from today is the launch for the Kickstarter for my graphic novel Jelinek, which is, of course, the sequel to my graphic novel Icarus. We will also be redoing the art for Icarus as well. So that's going to be coming out from Athos Arts Publishing. The art for that, as those of you who have been watching know, is spectacular. It's super good. But we're really going to be relying on people to be able to spread the word, just as Grundislav was talking about with his game. So please, please, please spread the word about this as well, because again, the more sort of attention we can get to it, the better and better that project is going to be. So we will be launching it on my stream June 11th, 2 weeks from today, starting at noon Eastern. Have fun with Curse of Strahd, Caro. Go take that guy down. And as for me, I'm going to be back here at 4 p.m. Eastern over on GOG for Pen and Pixels and Spycraft. But that's going to be it for me for now. No raid today, because I'm hoping all of you will be over there instead. Also, schedule-wise, I will be back on Friday, hopefully with Masters of the Dungeon. I still have to confirm. And then probably some more Sorcery, Inkle Sorcery, which of course is an awesome game as well. Thank you to my wonderful mods today, Aradinel, Dragonspear, Shattermage. Much love to all of you. Best in the business, as I've said many times. Thank you to my subscribers, Aradinel, Dragonspear, Nonstop, now Grundislav, and of course Paxi. Thanks so much for watching and checking stuff out. Awesome. I'm glad to hear it, Summer. That is great. Also, continued good luck with the internship. Thank you to Apple Bad Apple. Thank you to Cat Rambo. I don't know if she's here or lurking, but always a pleasure to have Cat here. Thank you to Coffee Be Black. That's a new one. I don't think I've seen you in here before. I hope you like what you saw and heard and will follow and support the stream in the ways that I mentioned. Thank you to Commander Root. Thank you to EA. Thank you to Ekeg, Aranth, Gorgar, Jagdris, Jadja. Thank you to Caro, as always. Thank you to Kiwi Ronicles. I like that one. I don't think I've seen you here before either. Again, hope you like what you saw and heard and will follow and support in the ways that I mentioned. Thank you to Lurks. Thank you to Mubat, I guess. Thank you to Marinda. Thank you to Mr. Mano. Thank you to Mr. Reflector. Thank you to No Name Namer. Thank you to Polizei, Poltergeist Zero. Thank you to Quapmo, Slow Cool, Stay Hydrated Bot for always keeping me hydrated. Thank you to Summer, who I hope will get a chance to make the game that she wants to. Thank you to the Grimnir. Thank you to TNS Mephiston. Thank you to, as always, thank you to Tomak Satnov, again, for being here and giving us some insight into the game as well before Grundislav showed up. Thank you to you, Christensen. Thank you to VNK. And thank you to Virgo Praz. Thanks, everybody. Much love. I will catch all of you wonderful people over on GOG at 4 p.m. Until then, follow, support, spread the word, mark your calendars for that Icarus Jelinek Kickstarter launch in 2 weeks, and I will see you lovely people in just about 40 minutes. Until then, be good to each other. Grundislav, thanks again for stopping by. Good luck with the games, and hopefully we'll see you back around these parts again. Everyone else, love you all, and I'll see you about 40 minutes. Bye for now.
Fresh and new, when it all seemed clear to you, when your aim was straight and true. Were your mind untroubled by the questions in the dark, content to play your part, open pathways to your heart? Were your life untainted by a host of broken dreams, when all your acts were queens, understood all that it means? Could you have understood the way your life was bound? Did you ever wonder how you got from there to now? Oh yes, you're gonna fly away from here, where the sky grows more clear, and your problems disappear, drift away down below. Watch them go down to your friends, where the trouble never ends, and there's always just one more day left to go. Now through your pile of broken lies, and your set of fake goodbyes, another cynical disguise. When will they catch you? All those little things you said, will it turn around instead? Blame the voices in your head. With all your subtle language, try and turn your life around. If your center gets unwound, you do your best to slow things down. And if you feel things that you never felt before, shook you to your core, a shattered truth you can ignore. Oh yes, you're gonna fly away from here, where the sky grows more clear, and your problems disappear, drift away down below. Watch them go down to your friends, where the trouble never ends, and there's always just one more day left to go. Take a different tack. You can turn and face your demons, or you can give yourself a break. You can go a new direction. Life is only what you make. When it comes to your own vision, when you got to see it through, you know you've got to make